Okay, guys, here is we're starting our capturing of our film. Now, the screen recorder that I'm using here is Screencast-O-Matic, and it's not the greatest. So if my voice is not synced with the picture, then we're just going to have to fight through it, okay? Okay, so you're starting your video recording today. So like I was telling you earlier, I have some iPods. They look like this and they're numbered on the back. If you choose to use an iPod, there's a couple of things that you need to know. You need to keep track of the number that you have and always use that number. Okay, you also need to understand that other kids' work from other classes are also going to be on here. So you want to be careful when you're recording or you're pulling information. Don't delete other kids' work, okay? But this is what the iPod looks like. I would suggest that you use your own phone. I think that, most phones nowadays have a good enough camera for you to capture a good film, and then you can also get that off and put it onto Movie Maker. So I would suggest you do that. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is behavior. Okay, you're going to have a lot of freedom during this last week, today and next week. You're going to be able to work with your group, work at your desk, work out in the hall, work around the room. Okay, if you're out in the hall, you need to be on your best behavior. Okay, I understand that you're out there to film your video, and I want you to have fun. Okay, but I want you to also respect the fact that there are classes going on. If you misbehave out in the hallway, then you will have to come back inside the classroom and you won't be able to go back out there. Okay? All right, so enough of that. So before I get into stop motion, let's talk about the paper slide and the silent video. Now, if you're doing a paper slide video, then basically what you're going to do is you're going to draw your scenes out, and then you'll have paper like this and you'll set them right down here on the table. You'll set your camera up, and then you'll either start recording video and just flipping the pages, or you can take a picture of each page and then edit that in Movie Maker. To make it run like a movie. So pretty simple there. If you're an artist, bring in your colored pencils and create a paper slide video. That is fine and dandy. Okay, so let's talk about silent film. If you're doing a silent film, then again, acting and music is very important. Also, is very important with a silent film is lighting. You want to be very careful that you have the light, when you're filming, that the light is coming from behind the camera onto the actor, okay, to get proper lighting. Unless you're looking for a darker effect. If you're looking for a darker effect, kind of like in the example that I showed you the other day, then you might want to have the light behind the actor shining to the camera. Now, understand that that's probably going to block out or darken your actors, but you want to make sure that you keep in mind the lighting and also the camera angles and things of that nature. Okay, so that's your silent film. Again, make sure when you're doing your silent film that your acting is very pronounced and exaggerated. And be careful in choosing your music, okay? Now, for stop motion, the example, I showed you two examples the other day. One was a stop motion on paper, and all you're doing with that is you're setting up your camera. Before I get into that, let me talk about setting up the camera. When you're doing a stop motion film, it's very important that you keep the camera still the whole time. It's best to have a tripod, okay? But since I'm very cheap and don't have any money, I have created a tripod out of a styrofoam cup, okay? And so what you do is you take your iPod or your device, and it sets right in here in the little groove, and that kind of gives you, let me turn this down a little here so you can see. And see, as you can see here, you set it on there, you set the cup down, and you keep it still. You can even set this up to where it'll tilt a little bit to get the angle right, and then you can take pictures and move your things around. Like, let's say, for example, you're going to do a stop motion with Legos, okay? So you would start, here is your scene, just like this. So you would start here and take a picture. And then let's say you want this character to move. So then very small movements. So you move his leg out a little bit and put him back and take a picture. Okay? Then you move him a little bit more. Take a picture. Move him a little bit more. Take a picture. Maybe you move this guy a little bit. Take a picture. So it's very small movements with a whole lot of pictures, and you don't move the camera. Okay? So, and that works. It doesn't necessarily have to be with Legos. You can use anything from paper clips to sticky notes to cars to whatever. But your stop motion film is probably going to be, you know, right in a location on your desk. You can do a stop motion. You can do a stop motion with people, but just make sure it is kind of tedious, and you have to keep your camera still, and you have to move the people just a little bit at a time to make it look right. Also, one other thing I wanted to point out to you, if you were wanting to give the effect of what did I do with it? If you wanted to give the effect of something moving on its own, so for example, let's say you want this pen suspended up in the air like it's moving, or say it's jumping up and down, okay? What you can do is tie some fishing wire or some fishing line, here it is, tie some fishing line to the pen, and then you can hold that, and then the fishing wire, the fishing line doesn't show up on your film, and so it just makes the appearance of that pen or pencil moving, or whatever object you wanted to move. So I have some fishing line. All you need to do is ask for it, and we can provide you with some of that fishing line. So if you need the tripod, also, since this is a very small cup, if you need to elevate the cup, that's fine. Like, just find some books or something like this, and you can set the cup up here like this, and then that can get you an even better angle to see, you know, whatever it is that you're shooting. Okay. You're going to finish your storyboard today, which is Friday. Okay. Make sure you finish your storyboard and submit the link to me, and then and only then can you begin to capture film. I would say you need to capture film today. We're going to capture film Monday, possibly Tuesday, kind of depends on how things go for you. And then we'll start editing Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, I think you need to allow at least 3 days, couple of 2 or 3 days to edit your film in Movie Maker. So make sure that you're going to be ready to turn in your final movie by next Friday. All right? Have fun today, and we'll see you on Monday.